Hello, I'm Joanne Turner. I'm reporting for Total Telecom and I'm at the Huawei Global MBB Forum here in Hong Kong this week. And I'm talking to Arvinder Gujral from Twitter APAC. Arvinder, welcome. Now, obviously, you've been taking part in some panel discussions this week and really taking part in the forum and representing Twitter as a brand. But maybe you can start by talking about how cellular networks are important to Twitter.
So, thanks for having me here. So, Twitter has been a partner to over 500 telecom operators globally. So, we've worked with them very well in the last many years, and we've seen the model of working evolving. I was at a panel with at the same forum last night at the VIP event, and the telcos asked me, Arvinder, what would you ask us to do better? And I had two messages for them. One, I need uniformity of experience across the world on a network. When I say that, I mean, if you look at 3G, 3G means different things in different parts of the world. 3G in the US is different from 3G in Japan, which is very different from 3G in India or Jakarta. In India and Jakarta and Indonesia, 3G behaves more like 2G networks in the Western world. And what that causes is causes us, when we are making our app and user experiences, designing a UX and UI, it causes us to relook at how our app behaves on a 3G network in Jakarta and how to behave differently in San Francisco. And that creates mild confusion in the minds of developers when they're making these apps. Should I have more images? Should I have more video content? How will it behave in a low latent 3G network in emerging parts of the world? And I think that lack of uniformity of the definition of 3G and the 3G experience, and now moving on to 4G and eventually to 5G, I think that needs to be sorted out by telcos collectively, so that the app developers around the world have a standard definition of what a 3G experience on their app or a 4G experience on their app will look like. That's one. Two, we've done so many partnerships, and I think two things that operators forget about Twitter. I mean, the Twitter brand, the bird, it's visible everywhere, but they forget that actually what Twitter stands for is content, and the content created by users. And a user could be somebody, an average Joe like me, or could be Barack Obama, or could be the Pope himself, right? And we have this content around the world. We generate about 500 million tweets a day, right? From a telco perspective, there's nothing better than to take that content, make it contextual, and make it available to their subscriber, matching it to his or her likes and dislikes and their interest graph on their network. A telco captures a lot of information about every subscriber on the network. They know which web pages you're going to, which mobile apps you've downloaded. So they have a fair idea of this woman on my network probably is a mother, has some baby apps that she's downloaded, has some gardening apps, visits house.com, so has interest in interior decor. So if you have that interest graph mapped out for your users, can you take the best tweets around that interest graph and make it available? This does two things. It makes the user delighted about, hey, they know who I am, and they're giving me something from Twitter, which is difficult for me to identify and curate myself. Two, it makes the network used more efficiently, because you are now putting in together a timeline for that user, which has text, video, audio, and now live video streaming with Periscope. So it serves a business purpose of driving data users and data adoption in markets, and it gives the users a reason to come back to the telco and feel a little more close to them. And finally, the last thing I would say is a very underutilized and misunderstood aspect of Twitter is direct messaging. So we have this one-to-one messaging and one-to-many messaging on Twitter now. And a lot of telcos have actually borne the ill effects of DM, because a user tweets to a telco saying, your network is not working, my data is not latching on, or you have overcharged me for some service. And if you go to a telco's timeline, you will see all these negative comments. We have now done partnership with Indosat in Indonesia, Reliance in India, and the O2 in the UK, wherein a user may tweet to you something negative, but you can tweet back, and the user now has an option via this relationship, what we've done. The user can tweet to the telecom operator and actually buy new data packs, buy SMS pack, buy voice pack, find a new offer just by tweeting #offer, #data balance. What is my balance in my account? How much have I spent? Can I activate roaming? So instead of calling a call center, waiting for 20 minutes to speak to a human voice and resolve your query and tweeting ill things about the telco, you can just go and do it yourself by tweeting it to them with defined hashtags that we've programmed at the back end. So this symbiotic partnership where we not only elevate the customer service of this new generation of users who are coming onto the platform, because these are all digital users. They don't want to wait 20 minutes on a call center, right? They want to get instant gratification of a query. So giving them this engaged customer service on Twitter as a platform and allowing them to sell more stuff to the same customer via the same channel is something that is highly underutilized. And just 3 telcos globally have done something with us. And I think a lot more can be done with this.
Okay, so it's all about really improving user experience, I guess. And so, how do you really see yourselves working together as you move forward?
So I would say there are 2 worlds in which we operate. There is the world of AT&Ts and Verizons, who are mature markets, very data intensive 4G networks. And I think there the narrative about videos on Twitter and rich content and rich media on Twitter sits very well with them, because they want to fill up that network. They've invested billions of dollars in creating 4G networks. We are now in this conference talking about 5G, right? But what does it mean when you have more speeds, when you have more throughput? It means you need to give a reason for them to use those speeds. And if you don't have the content that utilizes it, it's going to be empty networks where you invested billions of dollars, right? Twitter has invested heavily into video on Twitter as a native platform. We've invested in Vine as another app that uses 6-second looping videos, and now with the new kid on the block with Periscope that we recently acquired, just in 4 months, Periscope has seen 10 million users. About 40 man hours, 40 years of Periscope is watched on a daily basis by users. So that's a lot of video content, right? And I honestly believe Periscope and live video streaming on mobile devices is going to be something that will explode when 4G becomes more ubiquitous and when we move to the 5G era.
Okay, so how important is events like this, the MBB Forum this week?
I think it's great for me personally to come in here and understand what the mindset is of telecom operators, because they are talking 2020 and beyond, right? We are sitting at 2015. If I don't understand what my most valued partner, which is the telecom operator, is actually thinking, and what is their business priorities, where are they putting their dollars, not just talking about it, but actually investing their money, that helps me take that feedback to my engineering and product teams in San Francisco and give them a view into what the largest networks in the world are going to be doing in the next 5 years, and hence what do we as Twitter need to make sure that we have a symbiotic relationship and our apps actually justify the investments that these telecom operators are making. Because if we are going to live at the 140 character text tweet, which we had 5 years ago, then we are not going to be a partner that telcos really care about. But our parallel investments into R&D of our own products, given where the telco is going. So hearing this narrative from telecom operators, from partners like vendors like Huawei and the others, hearing from different device manufacturers, I think it's a great kind of meeting of the minds just to have some consensus, more reading of the tea leaves or the trend lines of what's going to happen in the next 5 years, so we can be ready when those trends become actually commonplace.
Great. Well, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.